This week, 4 U.S. senators representing the Washington, D.C. region wrote a letter to the D.C. Metro's general manager, Paul Weidfeld. These senators want to prevent the D.C. Metro from making a deal with China's Railway Rolling Stock Corporation, a Chinese company that makes railway cars. Why? They say that such a deal may allow the Chinese government to use the subway cars to spy on Americans, spy on American lawmakers, and even control the trains remotely. The lawmakers said that the transit agency should get approval from the Defense Department, the Department of Homeland Security, and the Transportation Department before making a deal with CRRC, a deal that would build close to 800 of Metro's rail cars. And it looks like their concern is not wholly unwarranted. Commuter trains by CRCC will have Wi-Fi systems, automatic passenger counters, surveillance cameras. But here's the thing, there's not a single US company that makes subway cars. So the problem seems to be that we have a high level of dependence on other nations for transportation manufacturing. And the DC Metro board chairman seems to agree. In his response to the letter from Warner, Kane, Cardin, and Van Hollen, he said, if indeed the federal government wants us to buy from other vendors at a higher cost, then they need to subsidize the difference. He noted that the US federal government pays nothing for Metro on the operating side and said, I would instruct the 4 senators to focus their efforts on getting federal funding for Metro. China's Made in 2025 economic strategy emphasizes transportation as a priority sector. And a key part of this initiative is for China to dominate the railcar industry by achieving superiority at train car building and by subsidizing the railcar industry to lower prices. In other words, the Chinese government has sought and achieved a competitive advantage in the transportation sector. The U.S. Senate already agreed to a 1-year ban on any federal funding going to companies subsidized by the Chinese government, like CRRC, at the end of September 2018. But can this issue be solved simply by blocking out Chinese companies? Or does the U.S. need a more robust infrastructure strategy? It seems the only production that gets subsidized by the federal government is that of the U.S. military. And military weaponry gets most of federal research and development money. All this while Beijing spends about 1/3 of the amount of money on defense as the United States. While Washington hyperventilates over threats over Chinese espionage and Chinese military power, a practice, by the way, that seems to justify more funding for the military, China is racing ahead in terms of economic strength. Some say that if the U.S. had its own industrial policy, subsidized more public infrastructure, and was building up its own transit manufacturing base, it may not be facing a Chinese company displacing rail manufacturers in the U.S. But for now, it definitely seems as though the U.S.-led war on Chinese businesses is amplifying into the transportation sector. In Washington, Michelle Greenstein, RT.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.